Hey guys, what's going on? Oscar here, and today we're going to be doing a behind the scenes type of thing of how I make an episode of Ask Whirl. Now, obviously, these episodes are going to be more than one part. On this part, I'm going to go over how they're designed. So sit back, relax, and we're going to start how things used to start back in the day. Okay, so a question I get asked a lot is why did you start Ask World? And to make it simple, not to get too much into detail, we started SEU. Well, I shouldn't say we. Bobby and Greg started SEU. Let me correct myself on that. Um, but they wanted something more besides it being just another podcast. Like now, YouTube has plenty of podcasts. Some you should check out, like Shit Piece Masterpiece Theater or Stasis Lock. Very unique podcast. But I wanted us to stand out, so I wanted us to have like the little extra oomph. And believe it or not, I was watching this guy, and this inspired me to make Ask Whirl.
Hey, what's up, you walking ball sacks? Now I'm here with Pink Guy. Hey, and today we're gonna answer your Facebook questions.
So yeah, it was Filthy Frank is what inspired me to do like a Q&A type of video. It was a nice way that I saw someone that was answering the questions that were being asked, but also kind of roasting the people asking. So I figured it really, I thought it would work, and I was really glad that it did. So the old design of Whirl is basically like amalgamation of the More Than Meets the Eye version of Whirl, which was designed by Alex Maley, I believe, and the old Thrilling 30 Hasbro Voyager class figure. As you'll see on the screen as it's popping up right now, the old PNG file. I thought it worked. I used the arms and legs design from the Alex Mealy IDW world. And of course, you could just tell just by the chest that it's from the Hasbro Thrilling 30. As you're going to see in this video, I redesigned Whirl. It's based heavily on another type of design. You'll see for yourself shortly. Now, the way I used to make the designs back in those days was traditional pencil to paper. I would pencil out the outline. And then ink it, obviously. Then I used a program, I think it was called Inkwell or something like that. It would turn my inks, like my black inks that were a little faded because they were scanned in into Photoshop. They would make my blacks very solid. And then from there, color it in Photoshop. And as you see, it's the way it's designed on screen right now, I call it the breakup because I would put these characters together in Anime Studio and rig them with bones, and that's how they moved around. And that's how you got to enjoy little moments like this one.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Ask Whirl with me, Whirl, your favorite Autobots, as well as the guy that probably goes through your trash just to get your credit card information.
Alright, so up first is the actual drawing process, because now I no longer do pencil to paper, I actually use an iPad Pro. I use the application known as Procreate. Procreate, I never got it, it's fucking awful. I'm so sorry. In the program Procreate, I basically go with blue lines, and then I continue on with actual inking, and I actually color in Procreate, and I could save it as a transparent PNG file, which makes it really easy to import the PNG file into Photoshop, or in this case I'm actually using GIMP. And it's all imported as broken up as I can, and then in either one of those photo editing programs, they're basically separated and put into Anime Studio for building. So in this process, you're actually seeing me draw out the new version of Whirl. Okay, so in this part of the video now, you're seeing me import the finished drawing of Whirl broken up into GIMP. I used to use Photoshop, and now I have GIMP, so it's kind of a learning curve. It's like having an iPhone for like 10 years and then suddenly you bought a Samsung, right? You don't have Siri, you have OK Google and stuff like that. So this was, oh, my phone just kicked on, but whatever. In this case, it was kind of a little bit taxing for me to actually learn on my own. Not a lot of video tutorials. There's still certain things I wish I was able to do in GIMP like I used to do in Photoshop. One of them is use the Control T key, which is your transform scale. I wish they kind of had something like this, but they don't. That's also how I used to make my title cards for my YouTube videos back when I had content on a regular. Um, so here, as you can see, is just me selecting pieces. I'm still getting the hang of GIMP, so this bit is a little long. I condensed it as much as I could. But yeah, we can move on to the next step, which is actually building him in Anime Studio and going from there. Alright, so here is where you guys are basically going to be seeing the brand new version of Whirl. It's basically heavily inspired by MMC's Turban figure, which I love, and thank you to Justin for letting me have him back after I sold it to him. So basically we move all the images I saved over from GIMP into Anime Studio. It's dogpiled on there, and what we're looking at is essentially a basic virtual model kit. So from here, as you're looking at the video, I'm moving all the pieces over because, you know, I want to start from scratch, and then I just work on the chest, the head, and work from there. Thankfully, this version of Whirl, like his other version, only has 3 switch layers that need to be used in Anime Studio. What's a switch layer, you ask? We'll explain. In Anime Studio, a switch layer is something that helps switch between what 2 images you have saved in that folder. So in the case of Whirl, I have his head switch, and then I have his hands also. So that's how Whirl's able to look at the camera and then look forward again if he's talking to, like, you know, Ravage or whoever his guest host was going to be. That makes anything with Whirl being in it very easy to render. Whereas Ironhide, for example, who has eyes that blink, a mouth, his hands, they have more switches, more images altogether. All those together take a little longer to render, and when you basically with Anime Studio, you can my cat is literally crawling up my neck and is digging her claws into my back. God damn it. Hey, hold on. Woo! Okay, sorry about that. So basically, in the case of like Ironhide, you have several layers that are switches, that involve switches. Like the eyes can have like 7 images associated with it. The mouth can have like 7 images associated with it. The hands can have like 3 or 4 images, depending on what kind of hands I decide to add on Ironhide at the time. All these things make it a little not difficult, but makes it longer for Anime Studio to render a scene with him. So in the case of Whirl that we're seeing here, I kind of cut one corner with him, which was giving him bendable legs. His legs can still move forward and back, but honestly, like a lot of the scenes I use Whirl with is him sitting down. This is a design process. This doesn't take me that long at all in Anime Studio. I could literally get a character built up and rigged with bones so that all his joints move appropriately in about 20 minutes. I think the biggest hurdle is still getting over. Alright, so in this part of the video, I am actually now starting to put the finishing touches on Whirl here. I actually enjoyed this part here because I did include, and you'll see in the video why I made a claw hand holding the gun all messed up, but it's still really easy process, and I'm just gonna speed this up a little bit because there's really nothing more I could say on the subject matter. I know I mentioned I was gonna make separate parts of this video in the future, but if you guys are interested in it, let me know in the comments below. Big shout out goes to Josh Fisher of Ship Piece Masterpiece Theater, who gave me the idea for downloading the OBS screen recorder that I'm currently using, that I use to record this whole process.